Hello all, so I'm just going to go over how to use MultiSIM. So I'm just going into the create section of MultiSIM, multisim.com/create. Okay, if you go through the main website, it's pretty straightforward to get to. So this is the screen that sort of comes up when you're working it. So it will look something like this. Here you can just name whatever circuit you want. So if you're looking at doing a parallel circuit, maybe name it that, or whatever practical you're doing. Okay, because you can save and go back to them one at a time on what they are. Alright, so that's how you do that. So down the side here is essentially all the stuff you need to make your circuit. Alright, so first off, this is how you measure a lot of your different things. So voltage and current, there's one for just current, there's one for just voltage. You'll notice these have a direction. Okay, so remember your current, that has a direction. So if you get negative values or something like that, you might have it going in the wrong direction. This is just if you want to write something, just annotate. Secondly, these are just other connectors that are used in your circuit. You will have to use this ground, and you'll probably use the junction as well. So our next one here, these are our sources, so our power sources. The main one that you will be using is our DC voltage here, but you can have a play around and see what AC voltage does to a circuit, or even any of these other things. So have a play around, figure out what they do. A lot of them I'm still a little bit unsure on what they do. So here next we've got our passive elements. So these are our resistors, capacitors, potentiometers are something else you've got to use. Okay, transformers. So the main one we're going to be using are resistors. Okay, so that's the main one you're going to be using, as well as potentiometer. So here we've got, won't be using any of them, so probably don't need to worry too much about them. Diodes are located here. You've got your lamp here, so your lights in this section. Your switches are here, so your switches, and most of that's the stuff that you will need. So how you get to actually drawing them, you probably start off with your power source. So if we're going to be using DC voltage, we'll get that up here. Okay, put that wherever you want. Yet again, just make sure this mirrors it. You can't really see that with that one, but you can turn it around just by pressing that button there. You can duplicate something by just pressing that. It will make a version of it exactly the same with the exact same values. Okay, so you can do that. And here, that's just delete. Okay, so after we have that, this is at 12 volts. We'll probably want to bring a resistor in. So put a resistor up here. You'll see this is just labeled itself automatically R1, and it's a value of 1,000 or 1 kilo ohm or 1,000 ohms. If you want to change it, you can type in the resistance here. Okay, just make sure you get your figures right. So if you're after kilo ohms, make sure you put the K in, or you can adjust the bar here. Okay, and press times 10, and it will move your decimal place. Times by 0.1, it will move your decimal place to make it smaller. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that you can adjust those. Alright, so something else you might want in your circuit, maybe a diode. Okay, so we have a diode in there, and might want to switch so we can turn everything on and off. Alright, just remember while your switch is open, it won't work, so make sure you'll have it closed to make your circuit work. Open, it won't work. Okay, current needs to flow through, and every circuit you'll need to put a ground on. Okay, or it'll come up with a bit of an error here, so make sure you have a ground at the end of your circuit. Alright, so I'm just going to put that there. Alright, now we need wires. All you need to do to draw wires is go over that there and draw them in. Okay, so this will work for each one. Alright, you might need to zoom in a little bit. It's a little bit easier once you zoom in. So then just drag it over there. continue this. If you don't follow the right path, it gets unhappy with you. It does weird things, but anyway. It's not my best circuit there. I'll move this. So you might just need to play it around just to get it looking good, but it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so this is what an example of your circuit might look like. Okay, so this is our circuit, but we don't have any measuring tools in yet. Okay, so just make sure that you do have whatever you want to measure. If you want to measure voltage, current, or you can measure voltage and current by clicking this one. This is the one I would mainly use anyway. You'll see that this has an arrow on it, so it measures the direction which your current's flowing in. So here, it'll be measuring it down there, and I'll just show you an example. Okay, and how you actually run it is by pressing this run simulation up here. Okay, oh, something's going on. What's happened? So our voltage is negative 12 volts, okay, because it's measuring in the wrong direction here. So we can always get out of this by pressing stop. Alright, moving this up here, and silly me, this is why it didn't work. Wasn't on there. So just make sure you have it facing the right direction so you get a positive value. So if you want to measure all of these, you might want to set up 3 different ones at different spots. Alright, you'll notice if you press open it and press play, okay, we'll get our values there. Alright, this won't work properly, so we press close and play. Here we go. So you'll notice here we've got 12 volts, okay, they're all negative values. Alright, so that means that we've got this around facing the wrong way. So we can just do this. Oh, it's made our circuit look a bit weird, but anyway, you can flip it like that, and oh, I must have flipped it too much. There we go. Still at negative values. Why are we still at negative values here? Could delete that and do it again. I must have pressed something weird. DC voltage here. Alright, here we go. It's facing the right way now. I'm not sure what was happening before. So here you'll see our values are now all positive. That means we're all facing the right direction. So you will notice here that this is and we can just stop this whenever we want. This is a series circuit. So how you can measure voltage drop is just looking before and after the element that you want to measure it over. So here, this is our 100 ohms. So here we've got 12 volts, and then it's 777.20 millivolts. So that means you would have to do 12 and then take away the 777.20 millivolts, and that would be your voltage drop. and your voltage drop across the diode, this would be 777.20 millivolts because it goes from this value down to 0. Okay, so that's how you can sort of build these. Sorry about the little stuff up with the DC there. I'm not sure what happened before while I was kept on getting negative values. So here's an example of a parallel circuit I've done. Alright, so you'll see here, just might need to move around these a little bit just so they're not in the way. Alright, so you might want to have a look at all of this in different spots of how much voltage is going across. So you could have a look here. So you'll see here all our voltages are the same, which is good in parallel, but our current has changed, and that follows our circuit rules for that. And you can always just check just by pressing stop and rearranging these. You can check voltage and current at different spots. Okay, so you can always see this is good. So you can see that just over this resistor we've got a voltage drop of 12 volts, but our current stays the same because these are in series with each other. But if you put these in different spots, okay, alright, you'll notice we've got 12 volts all before it goes through our resistors. Alright, we've got 84 milliamps at the start. Alright, we've got 12 on this one, 24 milliamps going through here, and you can always stop this and just move it around even before, see what happens. Okay, then we go to 12 volts and still stays at 12 milliamps. Okay, so you can have a play around and see how this all works. So hopefully this helps, and hopefully you can feel comfortable with this during and getting ready for our assessment. So good luck, and hope you're having a nice day.